Hi, it's Starno at Wave Oven Recipes, and this is my 30-day review of the NuWave Bravo toaster oven and air fryer. If you've not seen my initial review of this cooker, please do check that out. There I do all the initial cooks, I do measurements, temperature testing, everything as far as using the cooker and how to use it, and demonstrations using it are in that initial review. This is a 30-day follow-up where I talk about my experiences with the cooker, my impressions, my thoughts, comparisons, as far as my thoughts against other cookers. And so basically I have my notes here to try and make sure that I capture every point I want to capture. And so I want to just say, generally speaking, this cooker is pretty good. It's a smaller form factor than the XL version of this cooker, and so it holds heat in a good bit better. And it runs pretty nice. It heats things up in a pretty good amount of time compared with other cookers. Just generally speaking, it does a pretty good job. It's very good. I mean, for the price especially, it's a decent cooker. I enjoyed using it. I never had any regrets looking to it to use it for the 30 days that I was using it. I was very happy to use it. So I like it overall as a cooker. And I did want to mention that in my initial review, I did go over using different rack levels for different types of cooks and such. I found just using rack level 1 for everything is best. Just using one. And I'll even detail some of that when I get into like toast and stuff like that, because in the initial review, I did a test of toast and it came out more done on one side than the other, but I'll get into more of that later. Basically, level 1 works for everything. Now, this cooker doesn't have any light in it, so that's one downside, that it doesn't have a light, but I guess for the price, that's what you get. This cooker has no preheat, but at 1800 watts in a small form factor, that's okay. It can cook things up nice time, about the same time as any other cookers, without the preheat. And so that's pretty good. You don't need the preheat. Now, I did find that things cook a little harder near the fan side of the cooker than on the opposite side overall, since I was cooking all types of various things over a 30-day period. I found this cooker has no smoke issues, so that was a very good plus, that I didn't have any smoke issues with this cooker. Now, the cooker has a pause button, but when you open the door, it doesn't do like an auto pause. So you do have to keep in mind when you use this cooker that you have to hit the pause button before you open the door. It's not like you can just open and it auto pause. I don't know why they don't just have auto pause on every door of every cooker. I don't know if it's a patent thing or what, but I wish they did. Now, the door does seem to hold heat in very well. And as you can see inside, it's not like it's sealed or anything. There's no like sealant on the door or anything like that. But still, overall, it holds heat in pretty well, which is a plus. The user interface on the cooker is fairly easy to figure out, so it's fairly easy to use. Now, one thing that was a bit annoying about the cooker is that after a cook, if you want to use it again, let's say you just heated up something and then you want to cook something else right afterwards, you have to turn the cooker off and back on again to start the next cook. It's like once it goes to end, at the end of a cook, none of the buttons work. None of them, except for off. And you just got to turn it off, turn it back on, get going into your next cook. Changes on the fly with this cooker is very easy. You can easily hit time and change the time, or just hit temp, change temp. Actually, you don't have to hit time if the time display is already showing when it's counting down. You can just spin the knob and it'll adjust the time for you, or you can hit the temp button and change the temp. It's pretty easy to do. Now, I did find that when you're cooking things at the max 450 degrees Fahrenheit, it cooks things very hot. But it's interesting, if you're cooking at lower temperatures like 350 degrees Fahrenheit, it doesn't overcook things really hot then. It's like when you go to the higher end of temps, it cooks really, really hot. But on the lower temperatures, it cooks basically on par with other cookers. So that's pretty nice. Now, this cooker cannot hold a 13-inch bake pan, It's just not that big, so that's something to keep in mind there. I did measurements in the initial review if you're wondering about the interior dimensions. I did all of that. The noise level in the cooker is pretty quiet, so you're not really you're gonna barely hear it. I mean, you have to, try to hear it. It's pretty quiet. But I do want to talk about my experiences with each function that this cooker offers. The air fry function works well, and as I said, especially at 450, cooks things up really hot and fast. Bagel I did not use. The bake function, it works well, and as I said, no preheat, and that's okay. I was able to bake up anything I wanted to bake in this cooker with no preheat, and it wasn't overcooking the tops of things. Since it's got the side fan, it doesn't have heat bearing down on anything that you cook, so it wasn't like anything was getting overdone or over brown that you're baking. Broil I did not use, and neither dehydrate, didn't use that. Frozen feature, didn't use. The grill feature, where only the bottom heating elements are working, I did use the grill, and grill works very nice. So I like the grill feature on this cooker because then you can just use the bake pan kind of like you would a griddle and just cook things up with the bottom heat. Pizza I did not use. Reheat works very well. I did use reheat, and I don't use a microwave, so this was my cooker that I was using for cooking and heating pretty much everything, and it does reheat well. Roast works well, and I cooked I found a whole 3-pound chicken from a local farmer, and the 3-pound chicken, it cooked up well, and it didn't overcook the top of it, even though it fit and it was like close to the heating elements. It was close, and I thought, the top would get really blackened on the chicken, but it didn't. It was just like a little blackened on it, but not a whole lot. And that'll be a future video coming out with that chicken cook. But it did a good job on the chicken, but the max is 3 pounds, and so you got to get small chickens. Now the toast function, which I did use, it works well, but it takes longer than a pop-up toaster, and so something like the Ninja Foodi Flip Toaster is still better for heating up your bread, or just a regular pop-up toaster. But since I use homemade bread that's a lot bigger than usual pop-up toasters are, if I want to cook up my toast in a quick amount of time, the Ninja Foodi Flip Toaster can hold those large slices of bread, and I use that. But this can cook up your bread nice when you use level 1. If you use level 2, it's going to overcook the top. But if you use level 1 for toast, everything toasts up just fine. Waffle I did not use, but the waffle setting is for like frozen waffles, which I do homemade waffles, so it's no use to me. Cleaning this cooker is very easy, so no issues there with cleaning. I will show you the inside of the cooker just so you have a look. You see there's no stainage. The drip pan, pretty clean. I do want to show you the other accessories. This I would just always put in the top rack of the dishwasher. Everything else I wash by hand. And I talked about how I clean it in the initial review. But the bake pan does hold a bit of stain. I don't care about the stains. I just use like a wet soapy rag and get off what I can. But the bake pan does hold some stains, so you would want to line that with something when you use the bake pan. Now I'm going to talk about comparisons of this NuWave Bravo toaster oven and air fryer with other cookers. I'm going to just do comparisons with a few. If I don't mention the particular cooker that you're interested in, you'll have to look at the other videos and make your own determination. Now, this versus the NuWave Bravo XL air fry oven, which I did a review of years ago, and it was the version that was made before the one that they currently sell. So very similar, but not the exact same one. And so basically I'm comparing to what I used. Now I'll say that I prefer the smaller one over the XL because I found that the XL didn't cook things very hot and very fast. This smaller cooker cooks things up quicker. It can't hold a 13-inch bake pan, that is a drawback. But it does cook things up hotter. It holds the base of the heat in better. And you who remember my NuWave Bravo XL air fry oven videos know I had a terrible time with smoke with that cooker. I did not have that type of an issue with smoke with this cooker. And that was a big drawback on the XL. So I like this one better overall in my opinion. Next, I want to compare this to the Ninja Foodi dual heat air fry oven. With the dual heat air fry oven, the sear plate, the cooker being able to hit 500 degrees Fahrenheit, those are nice pluses. That sear plate could do a real nice job putting a nice sear on things. It was good for grilling. And so, even though it was a little slimmer than this cooker is, I still prefer the Ninja, the dual heat air fry oven overall. That sear plate is just a real nice addition there. Now, in this cooker versus the Gourmet French door air fry oven, the NuWave holds heat better, and it doesn't have the smoke issues like the Gourmet. So I do prefer the NuWave over the Gourmet, even though the Gourmet can hold a larger size chicken. The last cooker that I'm going to compare to is my present, and it's been a long-running champ, the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. This cooker versus the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven, basically I have to go with the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven because it's bigger, it has a quickie 90-second preheat, but it's able to cook things up quick too. It's able to handle not having smoke issues too. It's quiet too. And so it's got everything this cooker has, and it's bigger. So, you know, we'll go with bigger is better there. And so the champ, and still champ, and long-running champ is that Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. That's the way it is. And so that concludes the review, and nothing in this video is sponsored. So in the video description, there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as donation, merch, memberships. You can use a referral link to the Amazon shop and get cookers of your choice. This one I got at Kohl's, but they don't sell this one at Amazon, but you could get other cookers of your choice, whatever you want. And with the link to my Amazon shop, even if you're not buying a cooker, if you use that link and you search and buy through that link, it still helps this channel. So if you just use that as your jump off point for your Amazon shopping, you're helping the channel. Just something to keep in mind. So with all of that said, if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon, and good eating.